If your goal is to finally understand native French speakers, you're in the right place. Because today, I'm going to show you how two learners finally got there in just 30 days. Here's why their stories are so interesting. David and Keith have both been living in France for a long time. They hear French every day. They deal with it when they need to. But fast, real conversations were still too hard to follow. And that's something a lot of people don't realize. Just hearing French around you doesn't train your ears to understand it. So, what finally changed for them? It wasn't luck, it wasn't some trick. It was learning how to train their ears and doing it day after day. And what surprised them most was this. When they trained differently, other things began to change too, not just the listening. And once you hear what shifted for them, you'll understand why this type of training works. It trains your brain in a way that simple immersion just can't. Let's start with David. David is British and he's been living in France for more than 10 years. And for all that time, he felt stuck. He studied, he practiced, he tried every tip people gave him. But real French conversations still felt out of reach. When he found my channel, he told me he had almost accepted the idea that maybe he would never truly understand spoken French. Then he tried one of my free challenges, and the progress shocked him. That's what pushed him to join one of my bootcamps. For the first time, he wasn't just listening, he was training his ears. Every day, he showed up. He did each exercise as best as he could. And instead of stressing about his mistakes, he looked at them and learned from them. And that's when he realized something important about himself. He tended to overcomplicate things in his head. Once he let go of that and trusted the process, things slowly began to make sense. He stopped trying to catch every single word. He started focusing on the overall meaning. And little by little, everything started to feel easier. And what surprised him the most was this. Not only was he finally understanding spoken French better, his speaking skills were improving too. By the end of the bootcamp, something small but huge happened in his daily life. He wasn't preparing sentences in his head anymore. He wasn't making mental notes anymore before speaking. He told me, I just started talking. After years of frustration, he finally felt free. It's been a great value to me and it's given me a better quality of life, he said. And with this new confidence, something else happened. He started taking a more active interest in reading and writing in French. It was like the language finally felt accessible. That's David. Now, let me introduce you to Keith. Keith is Scottish and he's been living in France for more than 15 years. And in all that time, one thing never changed. Fast, natural French terrified him. And it wasn't for a lack of effort. He studied, he knew vocabulary, he could understand French on paper. But the moment a real person talked, everything fell apart. The speed, the sounds blending together, and little by little, he found himself avoiding French conversations as much as possible. Not because he didn't want to speak, but simply because he couldn't follow. He told me he'd been stuck at that same level for years, surviving daily life, but missing details, missing meaning, missing confidence. Then he joined one of my bootcamps, and things started to shift. At first, it was messy, but Keith kept going. Every single day, Because, as he said, nothing is ever gained by doing nothing. And little by little, something sneaky started to happen, something he didn't notice at first. He realized the long, painful processing steps in his brain, hearing the sounds, trying to find the words, translating, finally getting the meaning. Those steps were starting to disappear. He told me it was as if the slow part of my brain switched off. He began to understand the meaning before catching every word. Slowly, he became less stressed, more confident, more capable in real life situations. And then came the moment that changed everything. As it happened with David, his speaking skills just unlocked. One morning, he walked into his local bakery and he spoke spontaneously, confidently. No panic, no overthinking. And that's when he realized this wasn't just better listening. This was his real life in France getting easier. As he told me, the value of this course is how the training really applies to the real world. Keith's progress didn't come from luck. It came from training his ears every day and trusting the method. And they're not the only ones. Learners from all levels, from very beginners to advanced, have shared their progress too. If you want to read more stories like theirs, you'll find a whole page of them on my website. So, what exactly are the bootcamps? If you've done one of my free 7-day challenges before, you already know the idea. Short, structured, daily training that teaches your brain how to understand spoken French. Real French, the way people talk in everyday life. The bootcamps are simply the next level of that. Instead of 7 days, you get 30 days of training. Every day, you work with a new, real conversation and follow the same proven step-by-step method. If you want the full breakdown of the method, I explain it in this video. And if you want to know more about the bootcamps or see exactly what's included, everything is on my website. Enrollment will open again in December, including a brand new bootcamp, so stay tuned. Most people who join my bootcamps start with a free challenge, and a brand new 7-day challenge is coming very soon. If you want the bonuses I've prepared for it, the waitlist is already open. And if you want to start training today, just jump into this free challenge. One video a day, that's all you need. See you there.